Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the 40K Cafe, and thanks T for yet another request. As per the comment indicates, today we will be talking about the Octorious Wars. The Octorious Wars was a conflict at the better end of the 41st millennium between the two factions, the Orcs and the Tyranids. At the time, this would take place during the Third Tyrannic War, where High Fleet Leviathan was going through the southern plains of the galaxy, besieging the Imperium. At this point in the lore, it was common knowledge amongst the Imperium that the Tyranids would reproduce by consuming biomass. And on the other side, the Imperium knew that Orcs would reproduce by when they died, they would drop spores in order to reproduce further and create even more biomass. The more that you kill more rapidly, the more of them that they would spawn. In the southern plain, it wasn't just High Fleet Leviathan that was there. There was a large Orc wall, and the Imperium didn't want to waste all of its resources combating two different enemies in the same sector. So, an Inquisitor named Inquisitor Cryptman was tasked with going ahead and finding a solution to the problem of the two invading forces. With the knowledge of how both parties reproduce, Cryptman believed that he could use the old two birds with one stone and put both forces against each other. And so Cryptman devised said plan. He would go ahead, steal Gene Stealers, awake them on a space hulk, and put them in the trajectory of the Orc Empire of Octorious. When the Gene Stealers would awaken, High Fleet Leviathan would be made known of the Orc Empire and would change its course and trajectory to infiltrate the Empire of Octorious. Unfortunately, the Orc Empire would preemptively attack the Gene Stealers, and only a splinter faction of the High Fleet Leviathan would go on to the Octorious sector. So, as a result, at the beginning of the war, the Tyranids were vastly outnumbered by the Orcs. But, as we know, Tyranids adapt to their environments and situations rapidly. So they would only go on ambush tactics and attack wandering patrols. As a result, the Orcs would become even more cunning, adapt to that, and travel in larger parties. It was a constant going back and forth of battle, retreating, adapting, rinse and repeat. But you see, this is actually where the problem lies. You have one side that constantly feeds on biomass, especially the more that you provide it with. And then you have the other side that constantly reproduces by just dropping spores upon their death, especially the faster you kill them. Eventually, towards the end of the war, the Imperium would realize that all Cryptman did was bolster the strength of both factions. The next Inquisitor that would take over would highlight the subsector to where the war was going on and declare every single Imperial planet near it lost already. All the Imperial planets just outside the sector were asked to bolster their defenses from any possible invading Xenos as a result of the nearby conflict. The Imperium would then be besieged by what they feared initially, being attacked by both the Orc Wall and the Tyranids. The war between the Tyranids and the Orcs would then spiral further out of control and spawn Cornate demons due to the amount of bloodshed that was occurring. Arguably, every single faction involved, save for the Imperium, was getting stronger from this conflict. All started because of the Imperium. And currently, the threat that they feared more, the Tyranids, have taken the advantage and have nearly won the war. So it started off as a much smaller but still large Hive fleet has grown exponentially. And after dealing with the Orcs, the Great Devourer is sure to put its sights back on the Imperium. Thanks again for the request, T. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you want to hear next, and remember as always to follow for more.